Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Y'all like to solve some mysteries? Hey, guess what? Saturday nights, me and the Enforcer solve some mysteries. It's at the Twitch. It's a lot of fun. It's a second screen experience. So come on out to the Twitch if you got nothing better to do on a Saturday night. It's usually at 9 Pacific, midnight Eastern. That's a lot of fun. And then also, if you enjoy ad-free episodes, if you want Going In Raw ad-free in the audio realm, you can get that if you go to goinginraw.supercast.tech. The link is in the description, and you get this show ad-free in your podcast app. Or if you want to get some of our bonus episodes for $5 a month, the other one is with no bonus episodes, $3 a month. The one with bonus episodes is $5 a month. You get 2 bonus episodes every single week. The numbers don't lie, and Power Rank this week on the Numbers Don't Lie. Dave Bautista, we applied our tried and true Going In Raw mathematical formula on Dave Bautista, and it was a really fun episode. And then on Power Rank, sort of a throwback to our old count out /10 for the win type stuff, where we power ranked the top 10 most shocking moments in pro wrestling, and we do it live. So if you're a patron, YouTube sub, YouTube channel member, you can Twitch sub or YouTube channel member, you can watch it live, you can watch it on demand, or if you're an audio patron, you can listen to it as well. It's a lot of fun. It's good stuff.
Indeed.
Smackdown was in Madison Square Garden tonight, and you can tell if they're going to spend all that money that it costs to run at Madison Square Garden, they're going to bring out the big guns, and they brought out Brock Lesnar. Yes, Larson, you have a question, please. Yes, sir.
Yes, I understand you can't have Brock Lesnar on every week because I'm sure it costs a lot of money to do that.
Tons.
From a creative standpoint, though, like there's no reason you can't run shows of this quality in any building in the country. And while SmackDown was very good and I enjoyed it, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, WWE is capable of doing this.
Yeah.
Why can't they give us it a bit more often?
Yeah, that's a solid question. I would imagine. My speculation on it. This is burnout. It's, you got the people at the very top are like trillions of years old, and they can't bring it to that degree every single week. So Vince gets motivated at certain points in Madison Square Garden, a building that obviously has. Yes, Larson, you have another question.
So one of the reasons I feel like this show was so good is because there was a couple really good matches.
Yeah,
that held it down. They gave Edge and Seth pretty much put on a pay-per-view main event match.
Yeah,
on the show.
Oh my!
They gave it like a half hour.
Yeah, it was killer.
And as we saw, the first half of Raw this week was really good. Why? Because they focused on in-ring action rather than a bunch of redundant backstage segments or unmotivated rematches. So I feel like it shouldn't be that hard of a formula, and it should be to an extent somewhat burnout proof, somewhat, in that you have incredible wrestlers on your roster who, when you put them in the ring for 20 minutes, can generally put on really good matches. Just have them do that.
Look, you're preaching to the choir. I don't know. It should be that we've seen a guy just be a fan who happens to be the son of a billionaire come in, say, pitch to the hottest free agents in wrestling and say, hey, let's make a really cool company. And he just does it. Now, I think Tony Khan is an incredibly smart guy, but also he's got the benefit of youth. And we saw Vince McMahon in his 50s anyways, when you're still, pretty with it, produce some pretty compelling television on a week to week basis. He used to do this stuff. He's 1,000,000 years old. He's so old. And Bruce Pritchard is so old. And you listen, I say this a million times. If you want some real insight into WWE creative, listen to how burnout Bruce Pritchard sounds on his podcast, because he still produces it, or he doesn't. He calls in. He doesn't actually.
He calls
produce
in,
it, but he's there. He's doing it, and you can hear in his voice. I mean, besides just understanding what their creative minds are like, it's an attraction. You can hear how burnt out the guy is. He doesn't get any sleep, and I just imagine it's easier to say, this week, all right, I don't know, dude, look, I'm with you.
I would think the easiest thing would be is like, okay, we have the basics for story. Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, go in the ring, you get 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You're killing time. You're providing entertainment. You're providing people with the content they want to see as pro wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Which is pro wrestling. I mean, that rather than having to try to come up with ideas for 10 backstage segments that lead to really nothing.
Yeah.
Put people in the ring, have them put on matches and tell stories that way.
Tonight's SmackDown, it was a story of what WWE does better than anybody else, including AEW, and that is big spectacle matchups. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. AEW can't claim to have anything like that. It feels like a big Mania level thing. And I even said on Twitter, I think they should actually have this explode at WrestleMania, 7 months from now.
Yeah, they should take their time with it. Agreed.
Take their time with it. Absolutely. You can go, and Payman has even said it in a recent interview, or at least a headline said this. I didn't actually read the quote, that people are not going to be able to predict the twists and turns that are coming up.
I saw that too.
And I think that's terrific. I think that's really great, because this is, I got chills when Brock came in there, and it's a different Brock, and it's a different dynamic, and what's Heyman's role and all this stuff. I think it's great. And then you also have, and along with that, you've got what they do really well. They've got Becky Lynch, one of the biggest stars in the industry, and she is doing everything she can, and I think she's proving successful in getting the crowd behind Bianca Belair. And I think that is working.
Well, also, I think Bianca's doing a hell of a job getting the crowd behind Bianca
I think
Belair.
she is too, but this is a lot of this heavy loading by necessity has to be done by Becky. She is such a beloved figure, and so for her to come out there with those ridiculous sunglasses, which were awesome, by the way, and that awesome coat.
It was all great.
It was all great. To come out there and perform the way she performed, I mean, a lot of that just hinges on, like, Bianca's ready. Like, she's there ready for this, but it ain't going to work. If a good example is Triple H versus Roman Reigns, when Triple H was basically making Roman Reigns a fight for him to be a face, and Triple H is sitting there crotch shopping the whole time back at 32. Triple H was not helping Roman Reigns. He was sort of forcing Roman Reigns to, he was putting him in a bad position. Totally. Becky is trying to her damnedest to help Bianca, and I think it's working.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
The other side of that is you look at their mid-card, where it's this 10-man house show match.
It was a house show match. Bringing Trae Young into the whole thing with Sami Zayn was brilliant. That was fantastic.
The match was a lot of fun, but it also kind of illustrated that there are kind of no stories right now in their mid-card. There's really no stories.
In the men's division, there's the Bloodline story. There's when is Dom going to turn on Ray, and not much else.
Yeah. And so the lack of meaty stories for people to get involved in can on occasion be hidden because they do spectacle so well.
They do spectacle well, and the Roman stuff is usually very, very good.
It is, yeah. They do that story very well, and I think the headlining women's story is very good too. But everything below that is just, it's not the most. There's really nothing there, Everybody's just sort of swimming around, and then I thought that tonight's mid-card match, the 10-man tag match, I thought that actually served a pretty damn good purpose, and that was let people see Big E pin people. And I thought that his interview afterwards was killer, and I have no doubt in my mind that you are looking at the next WWE champion on Monday Night Raw. He mentioned Bobby Lashley's name, and I don't know if he had done that before.
I don't recall.
He has been showing up in Heyman's face over and over again. He has specifically mentioned, I think in an interview, that he wants Roman, but tonight he mentioned Lashley. And I think that shit's going down same way as I think Drew McIntyre is headed directly to SmackDown come draft.
Yeah, that's even more obvious.
Big E is heading to Monday Night Raw, and he will cash in.
I think a lot will be kind of for us as viewers, give us a very much stronger hint as far as where they're going in that regard, because during the show they advertised that Orton versus Lashley for the title is happening Monday rather than the tag match.
Okay.
So
is that not happening at Extreme Rules now?
I guess not. Maybe not. So I don't know if it's a situation, because we'd always kind of speculated. We have on our Raw recaps that there's an obvious path there, or a relatively obvious path for what to do with the WWE title heading to Mania. You put the title on Orton, have Riddle win the Rumble while they're still a team. The team falls apart because Orton can't deal with the fact that Riddle is his number one contender. Can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Team falls apart. And if you want to put that title on Riddle at WrestleMania, you can do that, because that story, the Arcade Bro story, has been probably the strongest stuff on Raw for the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, and I wasn't necessarily expecting Orton to win Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that was going to be the start of a 2 or 3 pay-per-view feud.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're getting that match, the first match out of the way on Raw, and if it's like a pretty decisive win for Lashley, probably ain't happening.
Oh, I would suggest that, as somebody is saying, White Brownie saying here, is probably going to be a wonky finish.
Oh, I expect that to be the case. I 1,000% expect it to be the case. And yes, the match, as White Brownie mentions here, will lead to the rematch at Extreme Rules. 1,000%. Expect that to be the case. But I'm just saying, if it plays out another way,
Lashley versus
makes me a bit more pessimistic about Orton getting that title.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. That's a good point. Lashley versus Orton is gonna be an interesting litmus test, as they all have been with Lashley. Another interesting litmus test. You and I were fairly well convinced that Lashley was going to beat Goldberg at SummerSlam, and of course he did, but it was in a weird way.
Yeah.
I mean, Saudi Arabia,
Well, here's the thing. What did Goldberg say? I don't care about the title. I just want to beat Lashley. Now, we had thought maybe, okay, they'll have a non-title match because you take Goldberg at his word, doesn't want the title, doesn't care about putting that on the line. He just wants to beat Lashley. And so they just have it be a non-title match, which they don't usually do for huge pay-per-views, a champion in a non-title bout.
Yeah.
That's usually something reserved for Raw or SmackDown. So I guess this thought didn't cross our mind. Maybe Lashley loses the belt before that show, and you get Lashley Goldberg, not for the title because Lashley's not champion anymore.
I mean, wouldn't that be a pretty spectacular draft day if Lashley has... When is the draft again? October 1st?
I think Andrew Zarian said it was going to be on... It's going to start the 1st, which I think is a Friday. Yes. And then the 4th will be on Raw.
When is...
And I believe the Saudi...
When is Extreme Rules? The 20...
It's September 26th.
Okay, so that's like basically the go home to the draft.
More or less. And then the Crown Royal is mid-October.
Okay.
Mid-late October.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make a huge deal about the draft, night one, Big E gets drafted to Raw, and maybe as a result of these shenanigans with Orton and Riddle, Lashley ends up getting cashed in on. I don't know. That's a freaking hot show right there. But anyways, we're sort of getting away from SmackDown tonight. They were in Madison Square Garden. I thought it was a pretty fun show because it's sort of, they brought out, like you said, they brought out just an A show. They brought out some inspiration. And why they don't do it more often is because they don't build the stories to warrant it more often.
I felt like so much of this was so simple. Like when we were talking about it on our Rampage watch along about this opening segment, it's the segment that more or less writes itself. You just have to get out of the way,
Yeah, but it's also a once in a feud thing for Brock to show up.
Oh, yeah. And not every feud can do this. I understand that.
Yeah.
But how many times have we seen like the WWE presented with a potentially great feud and they just fumble it?
Oh man, dude, it's constant. Yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
Look, I'm with you 100%. I mean, dude, every week of Nikki ASH becoming a superhero could have been pretty cool. But that story was just a mess. It was like this person's winning this week, this person's winning that week, and none of it made any sense.
Didn't make any sense.
The story beats telling logical, coherent 3-act plots, 3-act stories. It just is not WWE's thing, man. No, they care for moments and not much else. Pretty much. So Roman Reigns opens SmackDown. It's announced that he has an Extreme Rules match against Finn Balor. A match at Extreme Rules against Finn Balor. They haven't announced any actually Extreme Rules matches for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. That is correct. What's the most likely thing to actually be an Extreme Rules match? Certainly not the Demon is the selling point for Finn versus Roman.
I don't know if they do something with Becky and Bianca or they do with Lashley Orton.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Depending on how Lashley Orton goes, maybe that could be, but I don't know. Maybe somebody in chat has Edge versus Rollins. Man, this might have written off Edge for a little while.
Yeah, this wrote off Edge for a little bit.
I think it probably did. So Roman says, and Seth, by the way, is doing career work.
Oh, he's been great. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Craig. Steve, feel like I want to take up a new hobby. I want to start making stuff out of wood with these hands of mine, but honestly, I have no idea where to start. Where do I start?
So you're saying you want to get into woodworking, huh?
Yeah.
I was once like you. I wanted to do that. I had the urge to craft something with these hands, but I was unsure if I could do so. But then I got these hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. Craig has been the innovator and leader in pocket hole joinery, setting the standard for 30 plus years. And now if I got my Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro and a drill, I feel like I can build nearly anything from bookcases to desks to outdoor patio furniture.
Bookcases, you say? Tell me more, please.
Sure, no problem. You see, pocket hole joinery is a way of creating fast, simple, and strong joints in a variety of wood projects. And the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro makes it easier than ever. You know me, Larson. I've never been terribly handy, and the thought of building something out of wood with these hands of mine seemed like a pipe dream. But after going to craigtool.com, that's K-R-E-G tool.com, and getting my hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro, I can build pocket hole projects anytime, anywhere.
Anytime, anywhere, you say. How about 7 a.m. Sunday morning, my house, bookcase to go right there on that wall. It needs a bookcase. I think it'd look great. What do you say, Steve?
I'm going to pass on that, Larson. Hard pass. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
You can do it yourself. Because now anyone, even Larson, can easily create perfect and strong pocket hole joints with the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. It works with a wide variety and size of material and is great for building all types of indoor and outdoor wood projects.
The Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro comes with everything you need. Retails for just $99.99. It's available nationwide at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other home centers, woodworking, and hardware stores. Learn more at craigtool.com. That's K-R-E-G tool.com.
Again, that's craigtool.com. K-R-E-G tool.com. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from our sponsor, Chime. So, Larson.
Yeah.
I assume you have a checking account rather than keeping your money in a shoebox under your bed.
Correct. I do have a checking account. The only thing keeping my shoe boxes are my shoes.
Probably a smart move. But does your online checking account cost you money? Because it shouldn't. Chime is an award-winning app and debit card that features no overdraft fees, foreign transaction fees, monthly service fees, or transfer fees.
Chime is also super convenient because they have over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs, including handy locations like Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS, and more. That's more locations than the top 3 national banks combined.
And get this. With Chime, you can send money to anyone, even if they're not on Chime, and there's no fees for you or cash-out fees for them.
It's time to say goodbye to hidden fees. Join the millions of Americans already loving Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/raw. That's chime.com/raw.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees apply except at MoneyPass ATMs in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Other fees such as third-party and cash deposit fees may apply. Roman and Heyman and the Usos come out, and he says, "Wise man, when it comes to New York City, WWE runs this town, right?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "And who runs WWE?" "You do, my tribal chief." "That's right. The tribal chief and the bloodline run WWE. Therefore, the tribal chief runs New York City. So Madison Square Garden, acknowledge me."
He really got into that one.
And the crowd acknowledges him, Larson. They were chanting Roman, and Pat McAfee was marking out for that. So while they're doing that, Brock Lesnar's music hits. He's wearing the Dean Ambrose getup, but he also has flannel vest.
Mm-hmm.
Brock gets in the ring. Roman, they have a face-off, but then he steps back and lets the Usos get between them. Paul says, he tries to calm it down. He says, Brock, wait, let me ask you this. Why are you going after the WWE Universal title after all the titles we could go after? And Brock interrupts and says, I got a question for you, Paul. Why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be at SummerSlam? And I understand Fox needing to censor this. That crowd was chanting, "You fucked up," loud and clear. And it was pretty rad. It was pretty. The crowd, obviously, it's Madison Square Garden. They were a hot crowd tonight, man.
They were, and I love Roman just glaring at Heyman.
Yeah,
after that revelation,
when he's surprised about something, he is not happy. He is not happy about it.
No, and so Heyman's like, I didn't know Brock was going to be there. He's just playing mind games. And Roman grabs the title from Heyman. He leaves. The Usos follow, and Brock's just laughing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's cracking up.
So Heyman takes a moment and he starts doing his usual intro for Brock. For 20 years, I've been the advocate of the reigning, defending, so on and so forth. And he finishes up and Brock's like, man, that's great. Just like old times. But before Roman fires you, I want you to accept the challenge, please. Paul says,
what challenge?
Shot the Universal title. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to accept. And he gets to 2 and puts Heyman on the shoulders for an F5. Yeah. And then Roman hits the ring, Superman punch. Goes for another one. Brock catches him for an F5. Usos hit Brock with a pair of super kicks or stereo super kicks. I think they go for another, some more. Brock evades, hits him with clotheslines, hits each of them with a German suplex, while Roman and Heyman take their leave up the ramp.
Shout out to Heyman for taking that fall, though, because when Roman punched Brock, Paul Heyman went flying down. Yeah, that was a killer opening segment, and I'm really just dying to see where this goes. That's going to be really, really good stuff. Mm-hmm. Brock is terrifying when he speaks. It's one thing to see him in there and Paul's doing his thing, and sometimes Brock might look a little on the board side because he's heard it so many times. When Brock speaks, it's terrifying, legitimately.
It really is.
After that, Kayla has an interview for Paul Heyman, and of course he's upset because Kayla's basically a stalker at this point. And she asks simply, is Roman going to answer the challenge? And he's so stressed out, and he says the tribal chief will answer it on his time.
Yeah.
After that, we get this big 10-man tag match. Now, you and I were texting during this. We were both certain that star of the future Rick Boogs was going to get the win here because he's been getting these pins all over the place.
Pinning everybody. Before the match began, so it was Boogs, Nakamura, Ray and Dom, and Big E versus Sami Zayn, Apollo Crews, Bob Roode, Dolph, and Otis. So basically everybody else is out in the ring. Nakamura's making his entrance. Sami cuts him off and says, I love New York. And he's got the Knicks jersey and I love New York pants to prove it.
Pajama pants. He's wearing pajama pants. It's amazing.
So he says, I've arranged for a special guest to be here. Someone who knows what it's like to win in Madison Square Garden. The Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. Amazing.
This was brilliant. Amazing. Absolutely This guy was hated during their series.
Commentary mentioned that someone in the crowd spit on him.
Yeah. Oh man, and he was loving it. He was eating this up.
Great.
It was great. He was helping the heels out. At one point, he grabbed Rey Mysterio, was like trying to hold him down from the outside, and the ref ejects him from ringside.
It was great because Trey, at first, there's another ref ringside. He's like, the ref's saying, you got to go. And Trey just goes, no.
Healing it up.
Awesome.
Healing it up. It was pretty awesome.
Great.
So shortly after that, Dom and Ray hit a double 619 on Sammy, which leads Big E to grab him, hit big ending for 3 afterwards. He has an interview in the middle of the ring. Big E says, we had a good team like the Knicks. He's asked about when he might cash in, and he said, this might not be the last time you see me even tonight. He says, whether it's the almighty Bobby Lashley or the tribal chief Roman Reigns, if you have what I need, I'm coming for your neck. It might be next Monday when I show up on Raw. It could be any night. But just know if you have what I need, you're going to feel my power. I thought this was a great promo.
It was good.
He really needs to start just completely demolishing people, to really put in our heads that this guy is legit.
Yep. Agreed 1,000%. After that, the Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch contract signing. So Pierce and Sonya are in the ring, and Bianca comes out, and Pierce says, with your signature, Bianca, this match will be official. And most contract signings don't get underway until both participants in the match are in the ring. So I thought, they're going to have either Becky's already signed it, or she's going to no-show the contract signing. Interesting. So Bianca picks up the mic. She says, imagine coming all this way, standing in Madison Square Garden. The last time I was in the ring with Becky, I wasn't expecting a title match. I respect Becky as a competitor and a new mom, but the one thing she would respect Becky for is that she would never run from a fight. Now things have changed. It says Becky got her at SummerSlam, but if they went toe-to-toe now, the outcome would be different. Now she doesn't respect Becky as much as she used to, but Extreme Rules, Becky can win back some of my respect after I win back my title. And so she signs a contract. And then Becky comes with humongous sunglasses.
These things
huge,
were large, very,
huge,
very
and
large.
and like a bright red fur coat. Yeah. She walks to the ring and says, the original WrestleMania main eventer has arrived. Says she knew that she had Bianca's number when her music hit at SummerSlam. She saw the look in Bianca's face. And that's the thing. You can either be a fan or you can be the man.
It's a good line.
She said, there's no shame in buying a ticket, sitting with the regular people.
Yeah.
She said, I'd give you the match when I was ready, and maybe I would have been ready tonight. Maybe I would beat you in 20 seconds. Now we won't know. What happens if I don't sign the contract? What happens? What happens if I don't sign
She
it?
brings up a good point here, and they just start yelling at her like, come on, man, you got to sign it. Just sign it. Just sign it. She gets mad. She says, well, damn it.
Well, Bianca gets the crowd to chant sign it.
Yeah. And she said she was sitting at home, listening to the crowd chant every week, we want Becky, we want Becky. I came back at the last minute notice, and I beat the champ in 26 seconds, and this is how you treat me? She says, she tries to get sympathy. I left my baby girl at home, and you people are favoring a flash in the pan over me. And the crowd starts chanting, EST. Yeah, and this wasn't piped in. EST. The mission is being accomplished by Becky. She says, fine, I'll give Bianca her match, but it'll end the same way. Becky signs, and she throws a contract to Bianca. Bianca catches it, and Becky just leers at her and leaves the ring.
Yeah.
The ring.
We got a pretty good Seth Rollins Edge video package after that. It was pretty well done.
It was, yeah.
And then we get a shot of Heyman. He's on the phone talking to somebody backstage about what's going on tonight. Shotzi and Tegan roll up behind him in their tank. Says, hey, do you want to ride? No, okay, fine. And so they leave. He turns around. Kayla's right there. She wants an update on whether Roman's going to accept the challenge. And Paul says, all you do is poke till you get your answers. Says Roman is going to go witness his cousins defend the tag titles tonight, and then he'll answer Brock's challenge. And so he turns. Big E is standing there. He holds up the briefcase. right in his face.
Right in his face. After that, we had Seth Rollins versus Edge.
Oh, fantastic bout.
Dude, this easily could have main evented a pay-per-view. Like, this was absolutely fantastic stuff. I loved. So this whole thing has been, Seth Rollins, what do I need to do? The entire thing being about basically a Seth Rollins identity crisis and trying to match his foe with his foe. And this time he brought out the Glam Slam. He hit him twice with a Glam Slam. Edge buries the move. Edge hits a pedigree for 2. They go up top. Seth is trying to do the superplex into the Falcon Arrow thing, but Edge is able to counter by throwing him off. He gets Seth in the sharpshooter, which, by the way, Edge was wearing distinctly a shout-out gear to the Hitman, Bret Hart.
Yep.
Seth gets out of that. Seth gets Edge in the crossface. Edge counters, putting him in the crossface.
The deal.
He puts him in the deal specifically has.
You need the chair. I know, the piece of chair.
The piece of chair.
I just like calling it the deal.
The deal is a great name. He does the same thing he did last time. He slams Rollins' face in the mat. Rollins gets to the rope. Edge goes for a spear. Rollins, this is a really clever counter. He hits a spinning neck breaker out of it, a swinging neck breaker out of it.
They made a point of saying, commentary made a point of saying, all right, now Seth is targeting Edge's
They made a point of saying this is the first time he's really targeted the neck in this match. He goes for the stomp. Edge instead hits a sit-out powerbomb for 2. Rollins hits a buckle bomb, a nasty one too. He goes for a stomp. Edge hits a spear. Rollins kicks out of that. Rollins hits a series of super kicks to Edge's face. Yells, "Why won't you just die?" Hits a stomp for the win.
Oh, Edge's expression before the last super kick, I believe it was, where he gets up, he just looks at Seth. The look on his face is, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I got to get up,
Yeah,
it's like he resigned himself to his fate, but he wasn't going to give up,
Yeah.
It was really well done.
It's this thing of like this brilliant performance from Seth Rollins and Edge in this, but Seth's performance of like, the inevitability.
Yeah.
And him being conflicted about having to do it, but he's come this far.
Yeah, and what I loved is so Seth hits the stomp, and Edge is out. He's out on his back. And Seth very gingerly goes over, lifts up the leg, covers him for the pin, gingerly puts his legs back down, and then pushes himself back in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, I had to do it. Did I want to do it?
Yeah.
Do I feel good about doing it?
Yeah.
And that he plays out, and he has this interview. We go to commercial, we come back, and Edge is being wheeled to an ambulance because before commercial, they bring the stretcher out, and medical staff tends to Edge. So he's getting pushed in the ambulance, and Seth is watching as this is happening. And then Megan walks up to him for an interview. He says, "How do you feel?" And he's, I don't know how I feel about it.
He's so distraught.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel. I'm not sure I feel anything at all about it. It was really good. It was really good.
Really, really, really good. Seth is doing, like, of all the iterations of Seth, even his
so far.
I really love, I didn't really take a good listen to it until fairly recently. The music and his entrance dance, basically, how he sort of gallivants to the ring. It's all just brilliant stuff. And it's all this surface stuff. And there's some messed up stuff going on underneath that. And that's what's so good about it.
And he knows when to project that.
Yeah.
And he knows when to internalize it really well.
It's
He's doing really great work.
Really impressive
really interesting
work.
stuff.
Yeah. Backstage, Roman is pumping up the Usos, saying, "We run this place. They have what we have, or they want what we have." Usos say, "We're going to make the family proud." And Paul says, "Thanks for saving me." And Roman says, "I saved you. Why didn't you tell me Brock was going to be at SummerSlam?" And Paul is just speechless. He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
After that, we get the main event. The Usos versus the Street Profits. It's
a good match.
It's difficult. It was a really good match. But, like, given what we had just seen with Seth and Rollins, it was like, I know you had to place this here because of Roman. But, man, that match was so damn good.
I know.
It was such an emotional roller coaster.
I know, it was really good. So early on, right before the first commercial break for the match, Street Profits clear the ring. Ford takes out the Usos with a massive tope. And following that, Roman and Heyman make their way down to ringside. Towards the finish, Usos are set up for super kicks. Montez pulls Jay out. Dawkins rolls up Jimmy. Jimmy kicks out, sends Dawkins into a super kick from Jay. Jay tags in, hits the splash, only gets a 2 count. Shortly thereafter, Montez hits Jimmy with the frog splash, covers. Roman comes in and pretty much immediately puts Montez in the guillotine. Street Profits win by DQ. So after Bloodline have cleared the ring, Roman grabs the mic, says, "I duck no man. If Brock wants it, he's going to get it. I'll smash Brock as soon as I'm done smashing Finn." Balor, lights come down. And then the Finn Nebula opens up above the ramp. Demon Finn is back. Does the whole entrance. Demon Finn walks to the ring, stares at Roman, and like the house lights, they go from, normal incandescent or probably LED color temperature red. Super red. And that was it. Just a stare down at the end. Yeah. So Roman's got a lot on his plate. Really, really good stuff. Oh, by the way, it wasn't actually the sharpshooter. It was the educator. That's right. Right. But still, his Edge really, like, I love his ring gear in terms of it being Edge specific ring gear. It's beautiful. Like all the different colorways they have for it, all the color schemes they got for it. It looks great. Yeah, it's really good. Want to answer a couple questions? Yeah, let's answer a couple of questions. I got a thread up here on the Patreon. I'm sure our Twitch chat has plenty. We do. Peaches Juanito extended their sub through April. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, through WrestleMania season. And then Billy Be Bad with the subs. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yeah, man, we've got this. We blasted past at All Out. We blasted past our goal of 1,500 subs on the Twitch. Yeah, so it means we got to do a 24-hour stream now. Today we were talking about what foods we're going to review on the stream, and we said somebody brought up in chat, "Hey Steve, review a Moons Over My Hammy." So I think everybody's going to pick a obnoxious Denny's meal. Yeah, and DoorDash it, and then review it on the stream. Right now, tentatively, we're looking at around the October 9th date. Correct. For the 24-hour stream. So we'll keep everybody updated for that. But definitely follow us on the Twitch so you get the latest whenever we go live. First up, Moses Supposes. Oh, this is a good question. We mentioned this during the show. We think Edge might be written off for a little while. When do you think we'll see him again? Rumble. Whoa, that far away? Well, because Survivor Series, that's brand versus brand. Probably not much of a role for him there. Yeah. Rumble's 4 months away. It's not like, 6 months away. This isn't going to be one of those things where he takes next week. Say build to the Rumble. Build to the Rumble. You don't think he's going to take like a week off and then come back for a build to Extreme Rules? And have an Extreme Rules match. It could be one of those things. It's like one of those things where it's like they write him off for like a week and then he comes back for Extreme Rules. But he's been around a lot lately. Exactly. Well, no, he just came back for SummerSlam though. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was gone for a spell. He had a match he had a challenge Roman at Money in the Bank pay-per-view right before that. And then WrestleMania was only 2 months before that. Oh, he's been around quite a bit. Yeah, okay. He has been around quite a bit. Right. Yeah. Yeah, he has been. Okay. White Brownie Steve, there's already a Raw preview on WWE's Instagram, also not a SmackDown question, but what do you think about the reports saying the new NXT set being pretty much a watered down main roster set? Here's my only thing about that, because I've really grown accustomed. I like the song from the outset, and the more I see the promo video, I really like it. I'm going to give it my full support, and I'm going to give it a chance. The thing that gets me about it is that beyond that promo, they haven't done anything on the air to like celebrate this rebrand. And I feel like that would go a long way. Like all we've had, and I know that we work in that particular business, but like, it's just, they're looking for a different kind of wrestler. Well, did you notice in the promo tonight that they had some faces? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Swerve was in there. Legato, I think, was in there. Maybe Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes was in there. Yeah. So like, I just feel like in order to get us hyped for it,
you need a little bit more of just like a video package, which sort of shows me a drawing of it and features a really cool song. I've gotten used to the logo. Look, if they produce content that's pretty cool and exciting and matters, and they're creating characters who I'll be able to follow a through line when they move on, I'll be all about it. It's just this weird thing with NXT where for a couple years now, it's like it's obvious that there's been a disconnect between the characters we see in NXT and then where they move on to.
Definitely.
So if I get the sense that WWE is excited about something, that usually gets me excited about it because I know they're going to put something into it.
Yeah.
So as far as the set being a watered down main roster, I don't know. I haven't seen the set. Main roster sets look pretty good.
They do.
So
a watered down version of that's still probably going to look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Dang MQ, if they want to cross-pollinate storylines, they could say on Tuesday that Beth will not be there tonight as she has to take care of her husband after what happened on Friday.
I don't know if she'd have to leave, but she could reference it.
Yeah, reference it definitely. But yeah, as far as she's a huge part of the NXT commentary team.
Oh, she's integral.
You take her out of the equation, and it's going to be a massive
chemistry's
hole.
off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her and Vic and Wade are so good together.
They are. They really are.
That especially for the rebrand. That's kind of like an all hands on deck situation.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So if you remove her from the rebrand, some people might be tuning in because of the rebrand, maybe for the first time.
Yeah.
She's not there for a week or two or three, and she's back, and people are like, okay, there's a 3-man team. This is new.
Mm-hmm.
No, she'll be there. She'll be there. She's great. She's absolutely great.
Yeah, she is. She absolutely is. Gregory Fiala, in the end, do you want Paul to choose Roman or Brock? And what should Paul do to screw over the other person? I would not want it to be some silly physical act. He takes a chair to somebody, because that's not realistic. Or he pulls the ref's leg on a 3 count. That's not realistic. I'm trying to think of another way. Heyman is a manipulator. So, I don't know. I'm really curious to know. I think Heyman's looking for this to be his masterpiece, And it should be, because this involves the 2 biggest names that he's managed. I think. Who else did he manage, right?
Big Show, Cesaro.
Well, Mean Mark Callis, I think, was originally a Heyman guy.
I suppose.
Originally.
CM Punk.
Yeah, it's Roman Brock is prime Heyman territory. Yeah. This should be his magnum opus. Moses. Oh, sorry, I already did that one.
Maggie, I might have missed it, but was it confirmed that Paul knew about Brock being at SummerSlam or not? Do you think Roman buys it either way? They never really confirmed. It's Brock's word versus Heyman's word, I guess.
Yeah, Brock said he did know, and Heyman said in the ring he didn't. And then when Paul said, "Why didn't you tell me?" he didn't have anything to say. So I don't think, it seems like Roman is not trusting the wise man.
Mm-hmm. Zoe Conrana, since Seth is doing such amazing work, how would you book him being a world champion again? He would have to some degree, find himself. That might be kind of the story they're running with, is until he just finds out who Seth Rollins is at this point in his career. Because right now he the storyline with Edge is I need to get on Edge's level. So essentially, I need to become Edge, and it's still avoiding who Seth Rollins is.
If the Intercontinental title was booked as a much bigger deal, then they could tell that story. They could use that title as a thing. But yeah, I kind of feel like it would have to be the top title, and it's sort of impossible with Roman there. But
yeah,
if Seth were to win the Universal title without having found himself, and he has a hard time accepting that he is champion, and he has a hard time celebrating his victories as champion, there could be some real fertile ground for some interesting stuff there,
Again, you mentioned the Intercontinental title. It'd be interesting to tell that story at the Intercontinental title.
I know, yeah.
He wins this title and he's just mirthless about it,
Yeah.
Tries through the process of that,
Tries to buy a sandwich with it. Let's see.
Starts tossing it around all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wolfpack for life. Is there anyone else that is more hated when they leave, but more loved when they return than Brock Lesnar? It's hard to figure. It's hard to hated when they leave, more loved when they return. I mean, it's Brock. Brock is a good answer. He has a complex relationship with the fans.
You got that right. Theo, third anarchist. Do you think the Demon will get buried, or will they give him a good showing before they potentially ship him off to Raw? It'll be a competitive match. Demon's not winning,
so
but it'll be competitive.
Finn had. What was the finish of Finn Roman?
He passed out to the guillotine.
Yeah.
Oh, is he hit the coup de grace on Roman? Roman kicked out, did the low blow during the kick out.
Oh, the low blow. Okay. Wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know if they're going to have. They should have it be kind of a similar cheaty win, because otherwise, aren't you saying that Man Finn, who's just been beaten up, was more powered up, had a better chance to win than Demon Finn? I get the feeling they're going to give Demon Finn a clean loss, though, because it's Roman, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Dog Authority Figure says, one of my favorite parts of SmackDown has been Heyman and Kayla interacting. I love that because it goes back to their time on Talking Smack. He says, have we ever had a pairing of talent and interviewer that was this much fun? I think Mean Gene was like the ultimate with that kind of stuff, you know?
Mean Gene and Macho Man were great.
Yeah. Yes.
Great.
We watched them in the Smash Zone last week. Let's see here. Justin Rogers. So is Sami Zayn the new celebrity wrestler guy? Feels like him and his buddy Kevin Owens are kind of celebrity wrestler guys.
It feels that way. Kind of feels that way.
They're going to be wrestling the celebrities of AEW once their contracts are up.
I'm just Joe. How come they didn't let Zelina on the show tonight? She lost her father in 9/11. Should have gave her a match. I think she was originally scheduled there was supposed to be a match that she was supposed to be in.
Thought some people in chat mentioned something. Maybe was she in a dark match?
Maybe someone in chat will remind me, because I saw some talk in chat. It was like Carmella and her against somebody.
Was it Tegan and
no, it was
Shotzi?
Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Tony?
Yes, Tony Storm and
Blah, 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 blah.
Don't remember. There we go. Joe Hansen has it. It's supposed to be Zelina and Carmella versus Tony.
But they did not do it even on it as a dark match.
I think it was not in the show because of time or something like that.
Oh, and then somebody mentioned earlier, that's what it was. Somebody mentioned earlier that Drew McIntyre had a dark match.
Yeah.
Because it's SmackDown.
And Cena did too.
Oh, really? Cena did?
Yeah, afterward. Yeah, because he was advertised for the show.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Oh, the dark match was Bloodline versus the Mysterios and Cena. She says, I don't know if that's true. Oh, and then Rhea versus Charlotte was the dark match.
Oh,
okay. Stacked dark match show.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good weekend. We're going to be back.
Yes.
If you don't catch me and the Enforcer for Unsolved Mysteries, we'll be back on Monday.
We will.
For News Beef. Hopefully you'll join us for that. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.